Welcome back to Titan Vans. I'm Matt, and today we're going to be showcasing another custom build rolling at you from Boulder, Colorado. The chassis here, this is a 2019 Sprinter 144 4x4. Pretty popular rig. We do a lot of builds on this. This one comes with the 3-liter diesel engine, turbo diesel. Lots of power, great for going up and over passes. Does really well in the snow, and the 4x4 gives you a little bit more traction in some of that inclemental weather. Couple key features on this rig right off the bat, you notice this is a manual awning from Fiamma. This is the F80S, so it's designed for the curvature of the Sprinter. On this rig, we also did a little porch light kind of tucked back here in the back. It's still an option even when the slider door is open, so we tucked it all the way in that upper corner for that reason. Up on top, we do have a 13.5 K air conditioning unit. So it's an electric AC unit for cooling. It runs directly off the batteries and can also be run off of shore power. And when the engine is running, you can run that AC unit. It kind of becomes like an auxiliary AC unit to the air conditioning that comes standard in the vehicle. Also up on top, we have a 300-watt solar panel and a MaxxAir 7500K fan up on top of the roof. All right, let's check out what we got going on the inside. All right, lots of color. This is kind of a newer style for us. This was a custom build, so all of the laminate flooring, upholstery, the layout itself was all spec'd out by the client. Pretty excited about how this one came out. Kind of got a retro Airstream vibe to it, but done Titan style. So right here up front, we designed a removable storage box. It has a little flip lid on it and is designed to, in the future, hold a composting or cassette toilet if the client decides to add that. We have some L-track that we sunk into the floor, and this has a couple of knobs on the inside that secure it to the floor so it can be quickly removed if not needed. It also seconds as a step going up into the bed, so you can utilize that to just hop right up in there, and makes it a little bit easier to get up into this elevated bed. Up front, we have lots of functional storage, so some little just storage boxes. This one's kind of cool. If you kind of circle around the side here, we got a little flip lid in here. So there is a storage area underneath that is covered when this box is in. So we went ahead and designed this little flip access lid so you can gain access to that lower storage compartment when the box is in. When it's out, you have an identical door face down below. That allows you to get into that area a little easier. On the partition, so this is a full partition across solid from front to back that divides the kind of main living area from the cargo area in the back. We did a whole bunch of drawer boxes here. These are all bamboo, dovetailed, all on soft close undermount hardware. And then everything has these marine latches on them. So these rim latches tab up into the cabinetry and holds everything in place so it doesn't come flying open on you while you're driving around. And a couple of really nice big deep storage boxes here. And one more down below. All right, jumping up in the rig here. We had a Isotherm Cruise 130 clean touch version. So this is stainless steel. It is a door fridge, so it does actually look like the drawer model that we use a lot, but this is actually a door. Couple cool features about this. So the clean touch, one of the nice things is central handle, which actually allows you to switch the pivot point. So you can actually have a left or right swing depending on your design, and really easy to swap those hinges as needed. Another nice feature is it's really low profile. So you can see the drawer boxes are nice tight fit to the face of that fridge. So everything was designed really tight tolerances, give you enough space, but not, use up all that space for really useful storage. So that nice low profile here. Some of the other door fridges we use stick out a little bit further, which would have made all that have to be a little bit tighter up here. So we have switches kind of all over the place, lots of really functional lighting in this rig. You can see over here on the B column, we have our exterior light switch. So they're all illuminated, so you know when the light's on and off. So that was for that little porch light that we have installed in the back. This switch here is for our overhead lights. So we can turn those off and on, single push to turn off and on, and then press and hold to dim these guys. So they'll dim down, you release, press again, and they will brighten back up. These are all wired up, so you also have control over the overhead lights from this switch here. Same functionality as the switch that's mounted on the B column. And we actually have a third switch mounted right up here in the dash, so you can also control it while driving. The next switch here, we have our undercab light, kind of some task-specific lighting for our kitchen area, also on a dimmer, so you can set that level. Same functionality as all the other switches. And over here, we actually have our water pump switch, and we have some load lights as well. So yeah, all the switches right there. We also did a water pump switch in the back, so we'll get to the cargo area, but we have a rear spray down shower in the rear, so we actually put two switches so you can control the pump from either location, whether you're using the faucet or the rear spray down. Underneath here, we have an adjustable shelf, so we do have some pins, so you can adjust this up and down. Really simple, clean plumbing underneath. Have some quick disconnect fittings to make it a lot easier to service your faucet if needed. Quick releases, pull the faucet out if you need to replace it or blow it out or repair it. You'll notice these seats were swiveled around. So these are the stock Mercedes swivels. Really nice, definitely the best swivel option out there. If you can get them direct from Mercedes, we highly recommend just going ahead and ordering your rig with the OEM swivels. They make it a lot easier, definitely have the nicest glide. They also don't raise your seat height at all, so it maintains the stock seat height when you order them direct. If we put aftermarkets, which we do pretty often, it does raise the height slightly depending on the model of swivel that we use. On the driver's side, we did a little flip-up table just as a kind of an extension for the kitchen, but also as like kind of a little working space. We kept it pretty small. We brought that kitchen. We wanted to make sure that this countertop was as big as possible. So we kept this extension small, a couple little releases, and it drops down when not in use. A little hard to see, but just over here on the side, we do have some USB ports and outlets so that you can plug computer or kettle, microwave, toaster, whatever you want, plugs right into the side of the galley right there for power. So up top here, we have our standard single burner induction cooktop. It runs directly off the battery, so almost everything in this rig, is electric. All of our lights, our water pump, our fridge, the cooktop, everything runs directly off of the batteries. In this system, we did a 400 amp hour lithium ion battery bank. The only thing that doesn't run directly off the battery, the main power supply is going to be the diesel fuel, is our Webasto heater. So in this rig, we actually upped the size of the heater. We recommend for a 144 Sprinter or similar, a 148 Transit, 136 ProMaster, we recommend a 2000 STC. But if you're going to be doing a lot of winter camping, a lot of cold weather stuff, we recommend upping that to the Evo 40. A couple of nice features about that. It has automatic altitude adjustment built into it and double the BTUs for not much more money. So if you're going to be spending a lot of time in the cold, we definitely recommend getting that upped, and you'll definitely be, thanking yourself when it's real, real cold out. So, I've taken my rig out in -20 with an Evo 40 in there and stayed nice and cozy on the inside. So it is a sweet unit. That thing taps directly into the gas tank. It still uses a little bit of electricity for the fan and the computer, but its main power for the actual heating is from your fuel. So all you gotta do is keep fuel in your gas tank, and our electrical system takes care of the rest. All right, so our kitchen. We have a single burner induction cooktop. This guy is flush mounted, so there's no transition between the butcher block countertop here and the induction burner. The induction is an 1800 watt single burner, so it runs directly off the batteries. This system has a 400 amp hour lithium ion battery bank in it, and often, so 1800 watts is what this guy will pull when it's on high, but very rarely is anybody ever using induction on high because it's so efficient at producing heat that you're going to be running that thing much, much lower. So you can cook for several hours off this guy without any issues, and you do have to have specific pans for it. So this requires a pan that a magnet will stick to. So there are a handful of different types. You can get induction specific, cast iron works. There are some copper and stainless steel ones that actually have like induction coils built into it, so you can use them on induction cooktops. So one of the drawbacks to them, but a lot of nice features built in. it will not heat up. So the surface itself does not heat up. So it may look like an electric cooktop, but this is not a heating element. There's actually magnets inside of here. The magnets oscillate back and forth, causing the molecules inside that pan to vibrate, and the vibration is what causes the heat. So it's actually the pan itself that's heating up, not the cooktop. So cool features about that is the cooktop will never be this hot element that's sitting there. It cools down pretty quickly. The pan will stay hot, so you do have to be mindful of that. But as soon as you take that pan off within a couple of minutes, this will be cool, so you can utilize it again as, you know, kind of countertop space. Also, safety-wise, it will not heat up unless there's actually a pan on there. So even if by accident you click a button and start it up, it will not get hot unless there's a pan sitting on there. So we really like it for that functionality. And again, induction is one of the most efficient ways to produce heat for cooking. And when in use, you know, it's probably pulling around 80 to 100 amps when it's being used, depending on the level that you're cooking at. But does a really, really good job of heating things up fast and very controllable, so you can kind of step it down and, you know, get things to kind of simmer. So this unit in particular is really good at that. Some of the other ones, it's kind of more of an off and on. So our faucet here is our standard brushed nickel faucet. It does have a little pull down and the option for spray or kind of standard flow. We also, because it's 2020, installed a little hand washing station here. So we got soap or hand sanitizer dispenser. We got a recessed kind of cutting board. Also just an inset to kind of get your countertop space back. But you can use it as a cutting board if you want. Most of our clients choose not to because, you know, the countertops look so nice. This is solid ash. And we can do this countertop in a lot of different materials, cherry, walnut, oak. This was, again, spec'd out by the client. I think it's a nice addition to the kind of the design template that we got going on here. So, also on the back, we did a stainless steel backsplash. Really simple, but just kind of keeps any splatter from getting on the upholstery, quick to clean up. We cut it around the window itself, so we have a full backsplash all the way up to the base of the cabinet. You can see our lighting under here. Again, we kind of talked about it earlier, but some nice task-specific lighting gives you some really good illumination while you're cooking and doing dishes and all that good stuff. So up top, this is a teak laminate, and we got our flip-up doors. Pretty straightforward. These are our double overheads. All have soft close hinges, some gas struts for lifting, and marine latches all around to keep everything closed securely. We installed these little quick release puck mounts, we call them. So there's a little quick release mechanism, so you can slip these guys in and have some attachment points right here. If you want to throw a stand-up paddle board or a surfboard, or even just, you know, attaching a clothesline or whatever, it's nice to have a couple additional attachment points up on the ceiling for that sort of thing. You can see we also utilize them here for a little cargo net. So this cargo net serves a couple of different functions. This was requested by the client. They have a big dog that they travel with frequently, and they wanted to have a quick way to throw something up to keep the dog from jumping up on the bed if they didn't want him up there. So kind of acts as a little kind of a dog screen, if you will, and also to hold anything, bedding, sleeping bags, pillows, all that stuff from coming sliding forward. Now, we also installed on the side, if you kind of swing around here, you'll see some L-track mounted on the wall. And these clips can be utilized on any of the L-tracks. So you can take this guy off, slip it in here, and we like to put some L-track in some convenient locations so you can clip your duffel bags and backpacks and stuff onto here. So again, they don't come flying forward when you're driving around. So throw it up on the bed, clip it, keeps it nice and secure, and then you can utilize these guys anywhere that there's L-track and get all that stuff hooked back up. So I'll pull this down again real quick just so we can get some access to the bed area. So this bed here is 78 inches long by 74 inches wide. And then you do have a little bit of bonus room on each side for kind of stuffing personal items through the night. So there's another, I want to say it's around like 4 or 5 inches on the sides here of additional space. So up on top, we have our control panel. So a pretty standard control panel for it. If you've seen some of our other videos, we have the fan controller, we have our inverter remote, our breaker panel for all the different appliances. So in this rig, we have our AC unit, air conditioning unit up top, electric hot water heater that we'll show you in the back, our outlets, and then our cooktop. So you can control each appliance individually with this breaker panel. So you turn your inverter on and then decide which appliance you want running depending on the power draw. So in this size of a system, you wouldn't want to be running everything simultaneously. So you kind of have to pick and choose because of the high draw nature of some of these items. You're going to want to either run the AC or turn it off and then turn your cooktop on. Now, if you're plugged into shore power, that's a different story, and you can actually run both of those things simultaneously. This AC unit actually comes with a remote control as well, which is really nice. It does have controls on the shroud that's mounted on the ceiling, but you also have a remote that you can use to control it from anywhere in the van. All right, you'll notice in the back we have 2 windows mounted on the left and right side for both driver and passenger. They are awning style windows. That means when we crank those knobs out, they actually pivot out, which is a nice feature so that it can be open when it's raining out. So if you do have some inclemental weather, you want to tip those guys out, have the water shed off versus a slider style, which if it starts raining, you got to close up because water is going to be coming in. So we really like the awning style windows. They don't open up quite as much. And these ones are designed so when they open up, it won't interfere with your slider door. So you never have to worry about having the window open and then opening the slider door and having it hit that window. So they open up as far as possible, but also have some space for that slider door to operate. In the back, we can kind of showcase some of this stuff when we roll around to the side, but we did install a little personal fan as well for the sleeping area and some charging ports. You can see some of the wiring here in the back, but we have some USB ports and a little shelf in the back where you can store phones, glasses, wallets, and all that good stuff while you're sleeping, and then have a place to charge everything up. All right, let's clip this back up and then we'll roll around to the back here and show you what we got going on in the garage. All right, let's check out the cargo area in the back. This one with a fixed bed platform, we were able to keep a lot of cargo area in the back. We have 37 inches to the bottom of the bed. So lots of room, get bikes in here. Really kind of your limiting factor is going to be the length, the wheelbase of your bike to be able to squeeze one in here. But we do have L-track mounted in the floor, so you can secure cargo bags or whatever down right to the flooring using those same kind of quick release mechanisms that we showcased earlier. And also we have some bike fork mount adapters that go right into the L-track that will allow you to hook up your bike, both mountain bikes and road bikes. It's kind of a universal adapter. On this side here, we have our water system. So off the back, we have our water fill port. We have our spray down shower. This rig, we actually put an air compressor on, so it's mounted up underneath the vehicle, and a quick release air fitting right here on the back and a switch to control the air compressor. Down below here is our control valve, so you can quickly drain your tank. We can shut the water off, turn it on, or drain all from one valve. So try to keep it really simple and clean and not clutter up the back too much. A couple of switches here. So we do have like a tank backlight. So we have a little view port here on the side of this cabinet that allows you to see the water tank. On all of our rigs now, we are installing heating pads on the freshwater and on the gray water tank. So this one has a 20-gallon over-the-wheel well water tank. So that's a custom tank that we designed here at Titan Vans. And we also have a 9-gallon gray water tank that's mounted up underneath the vehicle. So the sink drains directly to that gray water tank. And we have heating pads on both of those that can be controlled from the control panel, so you can turn them off and on. They also have thermostats built into them. So even when you turn them on, they won't actually start producing heat until the temperature drops below 40 degrees. So we have the tank light right there, and then we have our water pump switch here in the back as well, so we can control the water pump when we want to use the spray down shower, or we have a switch up front on the kitchen to allow you to turn the water pump on for the faucet. All of our plumbing is stored inside, so we didn't run any of the plumbing in the walls or underneath the vehicle. So we tried to keep all the pipes, fittings, everything interior so that you can push more into those 4 seasons. So even when it's a little bit cold out, if you have that heater running, it's going to keep things from freezing a lot better than, you know, having to run things through the wall where it's going to be affected by the cold a lot more. You can see this cabinet jogs out a little bit right here. The reason for that, there's actually a hot water heater mounted right underneath this lid. So we have our IsoTemp Slim 4-gallon hot water heater mounted inside, our water pumps in here, tank, and all the fittings, control valves, everything right in this guy. So tried to keep it all really tight and compact and allow for a single place to come to whenever you need to either winterize your rig or if you're servicing it. Really easy to get access to everything. On the other side over here, we have our electrical system. Got a little switch here, so we did some load lights underneath. We got one on each side of the van. We have our electrical system. So our solar charge controller up top, our DC fuse block for the distribution. So this is where all the water pump, the USB ports, the fridge, the furnace, everything goes right in, all powered directly off the battery. We have our control switch. So this is how we can quickly disconnect the system. So we can either run this purely off of solar, just off the battery. We can shut the entire system down, or in this position that it's in right now, the 1+2 turns the entire system on. So everything is connected, solar, the battery, all of your DC system, and connects to the inverter. Down below, we have a single 200 amp hour lithium ion battery, and then we actually have a second one stored right up here. So those are connected in parallel. So we have a total of 400 amp hours capacity, 12 volt system. These are Victron batteries. And so we utilize a lot of the Victron componentry for the battery management system, the charge relays, load relays, all that good stuff. It communicates with the battery, monitors temperature, voltage, current, very intelligent system, and keeps these batteries safe. They are by far the most expensive part of our builds. The electrical system needs to be pretty resilient to handle all the different temperature and variances and the large loads like the air conditioning unit and the induction cooktop. Tucked back here, might be a little hard to see, but we have the inverter cabinet right there. This is a Xantrex XC2000. It's a pure sine wave inverter. 2,000 watts continuous, 3,000 watt surge. So I think I mentioned before, the cooktop is about 1,800 watts on max. Our air conditioning unit actually only pulls 1,300 watts, so it's extremely efficient as far as air conditioners go. Still a pretty high draw unit, so you can run that AC with full batteries for several hours directly off the batteries, but your batteries will be dead after that. So really the air conditioning unit is better used when the engine is running, so we can recharge these batteries directly off the alternator and it automatically charges. You can plug into shore power, so we have a plug on the outside of the van that allows you to plug it in, and that's where the inverter takes over. So it's a inverter and a charger. So as soon as you plug into shore power, the inverter recognizes that shore power signal and goes into what's called bypass mode. So it'll actually transfer that signal directly up to our control panel, to the breaker, and allow you to run your equipment directly off that extension cord. The other thing it does is actually charge up your battery. So it has an 80 amp charger built into this inverter. So as soon as you plug it into shore power, it does double duty for you. Goes into bypass and charges up your batteries. So, and you're not using the batteries at all once you're plugged into shore power. So cooking, running the air conditioning unit, all that stuff, no longer is actually using the batteries, nor is the inverter actually inverting. So, nice little unit, really compact, and is a, kind of our go-to inverter for most situations, especially for the cost. So that's pretty much the cargo area. Kept it pretty open for a lot of storage in here. So for bikes and skis, cargo, throw in duffel bags and luggage in the back here. Wanted to make it as versatile as possible without creating too much storage. We kind of squeaked in some little storage cubbies where we could, but kind of the custom design of this, we wanted to make sure we met the client's needs by keeping this nice and open. So the last thing here we kind of talked about when we were inside, but we have a couple of unique things that we installed in this rig. This little fan here is a marine fan, kind of swivels around and allows a little bit of additional ventilation in the rear of the vehicle. So we have the fan up front, but if you need a kind of a little personal fan going during the night, a little low draw 12 volt DC unit. You can also see we installed some lights. So some little reading lights are all swivel heads. And these actually have built-in USB ports in them as well for charging. up top in this little shelf. So this is just like a little open shelf that you can kind of throw all your little personal goods in. We have a 120 volt outlet up on top and a USB port up there. So you can also have all your phone charging, computers charging, all that good stuff. Easy access when you're in bed. All right, that's pretty much it for this rig. Hope you guys liked the video. If you do, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that like button. Got lots more videos to come, lots more information and products coming out. We want to keep those coming your way, so stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time.